metaphorical chains. Real ones. He was a slave in the Roman Empire, born with nothing, owned by someone else, with no freedom, no rights, no guarantee of tomorrow. And yet, this man became one of the most influential philosophers in all of human history. His name was Epictetus, and the philosophy he taught, Stoicism, has outlived every empire, every dynasty, every civilization that existed in his time. Today, over 2,000 years later, world leaders, warriors, athletes, and ordinary people still turn to his words when life falls apart. Why? Because Epictetus didn't teach theory. He taught survival. He taught something so deep, so radical, that once you truly understand it, nothing in this world can ever shake you the same way again. In this video, we are going to explore 10 Stoic principles from the teachings of Epictetus. Not as a list to memorize, but as a way of life to understand. Take your time with each one. Let it settle. Because the goal today is not just to watch a video. The goal is to walk away, changed. The dichotomy of control. Let's begin with the most important idea in all of Stoicism. The idea that changed Epictetus, that changed Marcus Aurelius, that changed thousands of lives across centuries. It is simply this: some things are in our control, and some things are not. Epictetus opens his famous manual, the Enchiridion, with exactly this idea. He writes, "Some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, reputation, command, and, in one word, whatever are not our own actions." Read that again slowly. In your control, your thoughts, your choices, your values, your efforts, your responses. Not in your control. Your body's health, other people's opinions, the weather, the economy, what happens to you. Now here is where most people go wrong. We spend the majority of our lives, our energy, our worry, our sleepless nights, focused on things that are not in our control. We worry about what people think of us. We obsess over outcomes we cannot guarantee. We lose sleep over situations we cannot change. And in doing so, we drain ourselves of the only power we actually have: the power over our own minds. Epictetus says, "The moment you try to control what cannot be controlled, you become a slave, not to a master, but to circumstance." Think about how much suffering in your life has come from trying to force things outside your control to behave the way you want. A relationship, a job, someone's approval, an outcome you worked hard for but didn't receive. Stoicism doesn't say don't care about these things. It says, be clear about what part of it belongs to you. You can control your effort, not the result. You can control your honesty, not how people receive it. You can control your courage, not whether life is fair. When you truly internalize this distinction, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling like a victim. Because a victim is someone who believes their suffering is caused entirely by external events. But a Stoic knows suffering is caused by the gap between expectation and reality. And expectation is something you control. Practice this today. Next time you feel frustrated, anxious, or upset, ask yourself one question. Is this thing I'm upset about in my control or outside my control? If outside, release it. That is not your domain. If inside, focus there. That is where your power lives. This single shift in thinking can transform everything. You are not your circumstances. Epictetus was a slave. He had every excuse to be broken. He was owned. he was beaten. According to one ancient account, his master once twisted his leg as a demonstration of power. Epictetus looked at him calmly and said, "You're going to break it." The master twisted harder. The leg broke. Epictetus said, "Did I not tell you that you would break it?" No rage, no tears, no begging, just clarity. How is that possible? Because Epictetus had separated something most people never separate in their entire lives. He had separated his identity from his circumstances. He understood, I am not this body. I am not this slave status. I am not what has happened to me. I am what I choose to think, what I choose to believe, what I choose to value, and those no one can take. This is not spiritual fantasy. This is practical psychology. Your circumstances, your past, your losses, your failures, your traumas. These are events that happened, but they are not you. The moment you attach your identity to your circumstances, you become fragile. Because circumstances change. They get worse. They fall apart. But the moment you anchor your identity to your values and your choices, you become unshakable, because no external force can reach that deep. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who also practiced Stoicism, wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He was writing that to himself, not for publication, not for applause. He was reminding himself every single day, I am not what happens to me. I am how I respond. Think of the people in your life who have suffered greatly, and yet carry themselves with grace, with warmth, with peace. They are not happy because nothing bad happened to them. They are peaceful because they refuse to let what happened to them define who they are. This is the practice. When something difficult happens, loss, failure, rejection, illness, notice the story you tell yourself about it. Do you say, "This happened to me. I'm a victim of this"? Or do you say, "This happened. What will I choose to do with it?" The first story makes you a prisoner. The second makes you free. You're not your circumstances. You never were. Desire carefully. Here is something Epictetus said that sounds almost strange at first. Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life. Most people read this and think, is he saying, give up? Stop wanting? Stop trying? No, he is saying something far more sophisticated. He is saying, most of your suffering does not come from what you don't have. It comes from the belief that you need what you don't have in order to be okay. There is a difference between desire and desperation. Desire says, I would like this. I will work toward it. And if it comes, wonderful. If it doesn't, I will still be whole. Desperation says, I need this. My peace depends on getting it. My worth is tied to whether it happens. Epictetus called the second one a form of slavery, because when your inner peace is held hostage by an external outcome, you are no longer free. You are ruled by the thing you desire. Think about the last time you desperately wanted something. Maybe a person's love, a job offer, a certain number on a scale, a result you were waiting for. Remember the anxiety, the obsessive checking, the inability to be present? That is not desire, that is imprisonment. Stoics don't say, don't want anything. They say, want wisely. Place your desires on things within your control, on growing, on doing good work, on acting with integrity, and hold everything else lightly, like holding sand in an open palm. You don't crush it. You don't desperately close your fist. You let it rest there. And if the wind takes some, that's okay. because you were never defined by the sand. There is also something else here, something about how desire shapes perception. When we desperately want something, we stop seeing clearly. We see only what confirms our hope. We ignore warning signs. We make poor decisions. The Stoic practice of desiring carefully is also a practice of seeing clearly. When you are not desperate, you can evaluate. When you are not attached, you can discern. When you are not craving, you can choose. This is freedom, not the absence of preference, but the absence of desperation. Amor fati, love what is. There is a phrase, not from Epictetus directly, but deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, that may be the most powerful attitude a human being can cultivate. Amor fati, Latin for love of fate, not acceptance of fate, not tolerance of fate. Love. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together." Nietzsche, centuries later, called amor fati his personal formula for greatness. But what does it actually mean to love what happens? It means this: every event in your life, every loss, every humiliation, every failure, every moment of pain is not happening to you despite life's good intentions. It is life. It is the whole of it. To reject the difficult parts is to reject life itself. To fight against what has already happened is to exhaust yourself in a battle you cannot win. The Stoics did not believe life was fair. They did not pretend suffering was pleasant. But they believed that how you relate to suffering determines whether it destroys you or develops you. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Amor fati takes this further and says, don't just react well. Find a way to want it, not because pain is good in itself, but because everything that happens, even the hardest things, is an invitation to grow, to deepen, to become more fully who you are capable of being. The person who loses someone they love has a choice. They can spend the rest of their life in resistance, wishing things had been different, feeling robbed, living in bitterness. Or they can grieve deeply, honestly, and then ask, who do I become because of this? What does this loss teach me about love, about time, about what matters? How does this change the way I live? The second path is not denial, it is transformation. There is a Japanese concept called kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold. The idea is that the cracks are not flaws to be hidden. They are part of the object's history, and by filling them with gold, you make the brokenness visible, beautiful, and meaningful. Amor fati is kintsugi for your life. The cracks are real, the pain is real, but you choose to fill them with gold, with meaning, with growth, with love. That is how nothing can affect you. Not because nothing happens, but because everything that happens becomes material for your becoming. Practice. Negative visualization. Here is a practice that sounds dark at first, but is actually one of the most life-giving tools in the Stoic toolkit. Epictetus taught, as did many Stoics, a practice called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, or more simply, negative visualization. The idea is to deliberately imagine losing the things you value most: your health, your loved ones, your work, your freedom, your comfort. Not to be morbid, not to live in fear, but to wake up. Because here is the strange truth about human psychology. We stop seeing what we have. The people we love become familiar, and familiarity creates a kind of blindness. We stop truly seeing them, stop feeling grateful for them, start taking them for granted. the health we have, the roof over our heads, the food on our table, we stop noticing. We adapt to goodness and then hunger endlessly for more. Negative visualization reverses this. When you sit quietly and truly imagine, what if this person were gone tomorrow? What if this ability were taken from me? What if I lost this stability? Something shifts. Suddenly, the person sitting across from you is not just familiar. They are extraordinary, temporary, precious. The morning cup of coffee is not just routine. It is a gift, warmth in your hands, a functioning body to taste it, a morning to exist in at all. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." He was reminding himself constantly that nothing is permanent, and impermanence is not a tragedy. It is an invitation to presence. There is a story of a Stoic who would regularly look at his most treasured possessions and say, "I am merely borrowing these. The universe lent them to me. One day they will be returned." Not with sadness, with gratitude, because to borrow something and know you are borrowing it makes you cherish it more than if you believed it would never leave. This is the practice. Once a day, perhaps in the morning, take a moment. Think of one thing or one person you value deeply. Now gently imagine it gone. Feel for just a moment what that absence would mean. Then open your eyes and let what you see be enough. More than enough. Let it be everything. Your reputation is not your identity. We live in an age of opinion. Everyone has a platform, everyone has a voice, and everyone, somewhere, has an opinion about you. Epictetus lived in a different time, but the human problem was the same. People desperately seeking approval, desperately avoiding criticism, shaping themselves not from the inside out, but from the outside in, living not their own lives, but the life that earns the most applause. Epictetus was ruthless about this. He wrote, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." Think about that. Someone insults you. Someone dismisses you. Someone spreads a rumor. Someone questions your worth, and you feel destroyed. But Epictetus asks, why? If the insult is true, then it is information. Use it. Grow from it. If the insult is false, then it doesn't describe you. It describes them. Either way, why would you hand your peace to a stranger's opinion? There is a Stoic exercise here. When someone criticizes you, instead of reacting immediately, pause. Ask, is there truth in this? If yes, thank them. Even silently, they gave you something valuable. If no, recognize that you have just witnessed their perception, not reality, not you. A person who calls a healthy tree a dead tree is wrong about the tree. The tree doesn't start dying because of the accusation. Now, this does not mean you become cold or that other people's feelings don't matter. It means you stop outsourcing your self-worth. Your identity is built from your values, your choices, your character, not from the score others give you. This is important because the need for approval is one of the most powerful forms of unfreedom. When you need others to approve of you, they own you. You perform for them. You contort yourself. You say what they want to hear. You become smaller to make them comfortable. And in doing so, you slowly lose contact with who you actually are. The Stoic path is different. Ask yourself daily, am I acting in line with my values? Not, am I impressing people? Not, is everyone happy with me? But, am I living honestly? Am I acting with integrity? Is what I'm doing something I would be proud of if no one were watching? That question, and only that question, is the measure of a life. Not the applause, not the follows, not the approval, the quiet satisfaction of knowing who you are and acting accordingly. Obstacles are the way Marcus Aurelius wrote something that Ryan Holiday made famous in his book. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is one of the most profound reorientations in human thinking. We are wired to see obstacles as interruptions. Something was going smoothly, then something got in the way. The obstacle is the enemy, the problem to solve, the thing to get past as quickly as possible so we can return to the real journey. But Stoics saw it differently. The obstacle is not interrupting the journey. The obstacle is the journey. Epictetus, remember, was born a slave. His entire life was an obstacle. No freedom, no choice, no rights, and yet he became one of the most profound thinkers in history. Not despite the obstacles, because of them. The constraint of his life forced him inward, into the only territory he could control, the territory of his own mind, and in that territory he built something extraordinary. Think about the greatest developments in your own character. Were they forged in comfort, or were they forged in difficulty? Were you made wiser by easy days, or by the times when everything fell apart and you had to figure out who you were? The answer is obvious. Difficulty is not the enemy of growth. It is the engine. Now, this doesn't mean you should seek out suffering artificially. It means that when difficulty arrives, as it always does, you change your orientation to it. Instead of, "Why is this happening to me? This shouldn't be happening," you ask, "What is this teaching me? How is this making me stronger? What does this obstacle require of me that I haven't yet discovered I have?" Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, observed that in the concentration camps, the people who survived were not always the physically strongest. They were often the ones who found meaning in their suffering, the ones who could look at the most unbearable circumstances and say, "There is still something here for me to do, a reason, a purpose." Suffering without meaning destroys. Suffering with meaning transforms. This is what the Stoics were pointing to. Every obstacle is a question. Who are you going to be in response to this? Your answer, repeated across a lifetime, is your character. Live according to nature. Stoics often spoke of living according to nature. This sounds vague at first. What does it mean? It means this: human beings have a nature, a set of capacities and purposes that are uniquely ours. We can reason, we can choose, we can connect, we can grow, we can love. These are not accidents of evolution. For the Stoics, they were our highest gifts. The things that distinguish us from animals and make us capable of philosophy itself. To live according to nature is to live in full use of these gifts. It means use your reason, think clearly, don't let emotion alone drive you. It means fulfill your social nature, care for others, be honest, be of service. It means embrace your capacity for growth. Don't stagnate, don't hide from challenge. Epictetus was deeply concerned with what he called the ruling faculty, the part of the mind that reasons, evaluates, and chooses. He believed this faculty was sacred, not in a religious sense, though Stoicism had spiritual dimensions, but in a practical sense. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. To corrupt it with lies, with petty resentments, with unnecessary anxiety, is to betray your highest potential. This is why Stoics practiced constant self-examination. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations, thousands of words of private journaling, not to be published, but as a daily exercise in keeping his mind clear, honest, and aligned with virtue. He was checking himself. Am I reasoning well today? Am I letting appearances deceive me? Am I acting from fear or from genuine judgment? This kind of inner work is what it means to live according to nature. Not necessarily living simply or close to the earth or in any particular external way, but living with full engagement of your human capacities, thinking well, choosing well, relating well. There is also something here about time. Epictetus was acutely aware that we spend enormous energy on things that don't matter. Gossip, trivial entertainment, comparisons, small grievances, while neglecting the things that do. He said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of things." What we choose to focus on determines our experience. Choose to focus on trivialities and you live a trivial life. Choose to focus on growth, virtue, meaning, and even an ordinary day becomes rich. Living according to nature is living with intention, asking each morning, what are my capacities today? How will I use them fully? What matters? And then actually doing that. Practice equanimity in all things. It is a word you don't hear often, but it describes something we all recognize when we see it. It is the quality of a person who is steady, not cold, not numb, not disconnected. Steady. They can receive good news without becoming giddy and reckless. They can receive bad news without collapsing. They feel joy, but it doesn't overwhelm their judgment. They feel grief, but it doesn't destroy them. They are present with life as it is, not chasing the highs, not fleeing the lows. Epictetus called this the goal, a soul that is not tossed about by waves. And he was clear, this is not the absence of feeling. He wept, he cared deeply. He was engaged with life, but he was not enslaved to the movement of events. Think of a tree in a storm. A shallow-rooted tree gets knocked over by wind. A deep-rooted tree bends, flexes, moves with the storm, and remains. Equanimity is the deep root. It is built not through suppression of emotion, which is not stoic, but through the ongoing practice of everything we've discussed today. Practicing the dichotomy of control builds equanimity. Separating identity from circumstance builds equanimity. Desiring carefully builds equanimity. Embracing impermanence builds equanimity. Seeing obstacles as teachers builds equanimity. Equanimity is the fruit of the practice, not a technique in itself. But there are small daily cultivations. When something good happens, notice the impulse to grab it tightly. Pause, enjoy it, and remind yourself, this too will change. When something difficult happens, notice the impulse to resist and escape. Pause, be with it, and ask, what does this require of me? In both cases, the same orientation. Presence without grasping, engagement without desperation. The Tao Te Ching, the ancient Chinese text, says, the soft overcomes the hard, the gentle overcomes the rigid. Equanimity is soft, flexible, resilient. Rigidity, needing things to be a certain way, is brittle. It breaks under pressure. The Stoic goal is not to become unfeeling stone, it is to become water. Water flows around obstacles. It finds a way. It doesn't force. It doesn't resist. It simply moves. That is the quality we are cultivating. Remember death, the final principle, the one that ties everything together. Memento mori. Remember death. This was not morbid to the Stoics. It was clarifying. Every morning, Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, reminded himself, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Epictetus taught that death was not something to be feared, because fear of death is one of the most powerful forms of control that the world exerts over us. When you fear death, you become manageable. You comply to stay safe. You shrink to stay comfortable. You avoid risk to stay certain of another day. But if you have truly made peace with death, if you have genuinely accepted that this life is finite, that your time here is measured, something remarkable happens. You stop wasting it, not because you become reckless, but because clarity descends. Suddenly, the petty argument doesn't seem worth it. The grudge you've been carrying for 3 years, does it really deserve another 3? The work you've been putting off because it scares you. If this were your last year, would you still wait? The people you love, are you treating them as if you have unlimited time, or as if each conversation might be the last? Memento mori is not about being sad. It is about being alive, truly, fully, urgently alive. The Japanese samurai had a practice of meditating on their own death before battle, not to become fatalistic, but to become free. When you have already accepted the worst, you can act without fear. There is a line attributed to Seneca, the Stoic philosopher. It is not that I'm brave, it is that I've decided death is no enemy. Once death is no enemy, what can life do to you? You can face failure. You've already faced the ultimate loss. You can face rejection. You've already accepted impermanence. You can face pain. You know it will end, one way or another. And in this acceptance, a strange peace arrives. Not the peace of giving up, the peace of someone who has nothing left to be afraid of, and so they are free, completely free, to live. So here we are, 10 principles from a man who had every reason to be broken and chose every single day to be whole. Let's hold them together for a moment. 1. Separate what is in your control from what is not. Focus only on the former. 2. You are not your circumstances. You are your choices. 3. Desire carefully. Hold lightly. Your peace does not depend on outcomes. 4. Love fate. Love all of it, even the hard parts, especially the hard parts. 5. Visualize loss, not to suffer, but to truly see what you already have. 6. Your reputation is not your identity. Build your character from the inside out. 7. Obstacles are not interruptions. They are the path itself. 8. Use your human gifts fully. Think well, choose well, live with intention. 9. Cultivate equanimity, the deep root that bends without breaking. 10. Remember death. Let it clarify every moment. Let it make you free. These are not ideas to agree with and move on. They are practices, daily, lifelong, and perhaps most importantly, they are practices of gentleness toward yourself. You won't master any of these perfectly. Neither did Epictetus. Neither did Marcus Aurelius. The Stoic path is not about perfection. It is about returning again and again to what matters. When you get pulled away by fear, by ego, by the need for approval, you return. That returning is the practice. That returning is the life. One last thing. Epictetus taught that philosophy was not an academic exercise. He famously said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." Every day, life will offer you a circumstance. It will ask, "Who are you going to be today?" And every day, quietly, in the privacy of your own mind, you get to choose. That is the only freedom anyone truly has. But it is enough. It is everything. Thank you for watching. Take care of your mind and walk gently. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs it. drop a comment with the principle that spoke to you most. And subscribe. There is much more to explore on this path.